Hello there. In this video, we are going to start something new. We will be learning Git Action Pipelines and a sample DevOps pipeline which will be intended for Google Cloud for now. But later onwards, we'll talk about other clouds as well. It will be easy to manage your CI/CD pipelines from Git Action Pipelines. Basically, it's very easy. Let me explain you the scenario maybe in a pictorial view first, then we can jump into the hands-on coding and other stuffs. For this exercise, you will need basic understanding of Git, maybe basic understanding of Google Cloud and few other basic stuffs. Now let me explain what we are going to achieve in this. So for example, we have one GitHub account, for example, and a repository, and maybe we do have two branches created. One is main, another can be anything. For example, this EP-1 can be my development environment or development branch. When I push my changes to this branch, and for example this blue color, this will be for development and testing only, this will not be the deployment. And what I mean by that, you'll come to know as soon as we start our exercise. So when I push my code, I want to get a result of that code, maybe a plan, what it is going to do. Then GitHub can trigger a pipeline which is GitHub Actions, and that will execute something Terraform to give you the plan. And whenever you are satisfied with your plan and we are okay with this branch and all the development stuffs, what we can do is we can merge this code into main. Let me take some other color maybe. And whenever I merge my development code into main, I want to trigger something which will be actual pipeline which will deploy and create the resources and those stuffs. So initially what we did, we pushed our changes to episode 1. Now that has been merged to main. What main will do, main will request GitHub to run a new pipeline with Git Action. Initially it will go to the Terraform, or it will basically execute Terraform commands. Also it will deploy something on Google Cloud in this time whenever it is from the main branch. And Google will basically create a storage account for our example. And later, once this exercise is done, that means creation of the resources is done, then I want this Git Action Pipeline trigger another job with Python, which will basically upload something on this bucket. Very simple exercise. This was an illustration on the pictorial. Let's get started with the actual code and actual hands-on. Okay, first thing first, what we are going to do, we are going to create one repository in GitHub. So for that, I have logged in into my GitHub account and I'm going to repositories. Once you click on repositories tab, for this exercise, I'm going to create a new public repository. So everything will be from scratch. So let's click on new repositories here. And I need to provide a name for the repository. For example, it could be something. So for example, it could be DevOps YouTube. And I'm creating for this public audience, but you should be careful with this. You can create your private repositories. So any description for YouTube courses or anything like that, doesn't matter, the description. And maybe I'm creating a readme with this initialization and other things are fine. Click on create repository. So my repository is now created. As you see, the readme is added and I'm into the main branch. I'll not use the GUI console. So basically what I'll do, I'll click on my user account from the top right corner and I'll go to settings. Let me open it in a new tab. And why you need this, basically I'll be using the Git command line to pull, push and other things. So I'll need a PAT token or personal access token. For that, scroll down to the developer settings and then from the personal access token, click on tokens classic. So for this exercise, I'll create a new token and this time also I'm going to take the classic one and let me put some name, maybe episode 1 or something like that. Expiry date 30 days is fine, and I'll give full repo access and along with workflow access. Workflow means your Git actions. So I can update the code and I can pull, push anything on the repo, and seems to be fine. Go down and generate token. Copy this value which will be shown on this screen just for once, and let me put somewhere in the notepad. Okay, and that's done. I can close this window now and I need to clone this repository now. Once you click on this code button over here, you will see one HTTPS link is there. Just copy this, go to your desired folder where you want to clone it. So this should be fine with me. And I can open up command prompt or PowerShell, anything like that. And let me open command prompt for now. Git clone, paste that value. So I'll need username and this token for now. Oh, sorry, it was basically a public account. That is why I was able to clone it easily. But when I want to push it, it will ask me, and I'll show you that also. And very quickly, let me open a Visual Studio new instance for now, Visual Studio Code. And this is my new window. You do not need Visual Studio or anything. You can open a Notepad, Notepad++ should be fine. And I'll be opening a folder for now, which folder has been created by that git clone, that DevOps YouTube. Click on select folder. As of now, you see only the readme file is present over there, and I'm on the main branch. So if I open up the terminal on this git code, and if I put git branch, it will show only one branch, which is main. And what I can do is I can create a new branch, git checkout branch, and maybe episode 1. And if I put git branch now, you'll see I am on new branch. Quickly what I'll do, I'll create bunch of folders now. These steps will be very crucial. So you have to create a folder which is called .github, like this. And inside that you have to create another folder which is called workflows, like this. So basically this workflows folder will contain all the pipeline files. And if you do not know what is DevOps and what I'm talking about, I do have one course already ready for Azure DevOps in my YouTube channel. You can check out all those courses. And I feel Azure DevOps and Git Actions are not very different. Only the syntax gets changed, but concept-wise it is exactly similar. And let me create another folder called episode 1, which will hold all the codes which we are going to read. That means Terraform and Python codes. And new folder which will be episode 1. So let me first create couple of Terraform files now. So maybe main.tf, another maybe backend.tf. And if you want to learn any concept on Terraform as well, I do have some YouTube videos in my channel. You can check those out. I'll put all those links in the description. And in the backend, I'll paste a code which I have written already, and I'll explain all of those things. So this is my code for the backend. I need a Terraform version which should be 1.5 and any minor version with that. And I'm configuring a backend. Backend means where my state file will be stored. And I'll change this bucket very soon. This is some other values. And maybe this should be for episode 1. And let me create a main file which will create some resources. Doesn't matter. So I'm defining I need the Google provider. Here I'll be creating one Google resource. It can be anything. Maybe a storage bucket. I do have a code for that. So I'm going to create a storage bucket using this Terraform, and this is my bucket name and where I want to create it. That's all. And I need to create a bucket in Google to store my state files, because in DevOps, if I run my pipeline, it is hosted by GitHub itself. I do not have control over that machine where all the jobs will be running. I need to have the state file intact in some storage or something which should be accessible later onwards whenever I run pipeline, or maybe from another sources as well. So let me go into my Google account or Google Cloud account, and I need to go to storage and buckets. There is already one bucket. What I'll do, I'll create a new bucket, and maybe Das Learning YouTube state, something like that, doesn't matter. And it should be unique in globally, as you see over here. Click on continue. I don't want multi-region. Why not US West? Click on continue, and rest other things can be default. I don't bother about that. Click on continue and create. Confirm. Now my bucket is created. Let me copy the bucket name and paste it in the backend code, and prefix, that means this Terraform will be a folder which will be created inside this bucket, and another folder will be created named with episode 1 where the actual state will be stored. I'll also show you that once it is created. This is done. I'll create couple of codes now. So for example, my upload payload, or maybe something, a text file which I want to upload as per this diagram. So this Python code will take that file and upload into the GCS bucket version 1, something like that, doesn't matter. Let me close this file, and I'll create another Python file, and maybe GCS upload.py, and let me paste a code over here. So basically I'm importing storage module and I'm creating a connection, and what is the bucket name which I'm creating from Terraform. Let me copy that value, paste it here. This will be my bucket where I want to upload. This will be my target folder, line number 4, T folder for example, and this will be my file name which will be stored there. Not necessarily the local file and the upload file name has to be same. It can be different as well. This is my test.txt file and it will be stored as new text.txt, doesn't matter. So simply it will be taking this test file and it will upload as a new text file over there. Let me save all these files. Now my development code is ready. I need to write my workflow file or the pipeline file, Git Action Pipeline files. So for that, let me to run anything on Google Cloud programmatically, be it from Terraform, be it from Python or anything, I need to authenticate the job from my pipeline. For that, I need to create a service account. And let me quickly create a service account in my Google Cloud. So for that, I need to go into IAM and find this service account button. And I need to create a new service account for this exercise. Click on create service account. Any name for this, maybe Git Action EP-1, something like that. Create and continue. And you can grant a role from this window. What I'll take storage admin. Click on continue. It was done and click on done. So new service account has been created now. Click on this, go inside, and I need to create a key file for that. What I'll do, I'll click on add key and create a new key, and it should be JSON format for me. Click on create. So basically it will download a file. So it is downloaded now, and let me open that folder, and it is here. And if I open that file in Notepad, you'll see, so 5 lines are there basically. I need the entire value in a single line. What I can do is, I can open a PowerShell in this directory and let me check the files. Yeah, it is there. And there is one simple bash command which I can run and which will remove all the new lines. Let me go into the bash now and let me check the directory pwd, and that's fine. So basically I will fire up this command, cat key.json, and this trimming function. Enter. The output is generated on my screen and this will be one liner. I have copied it. Let me paste it in the notepad. You'll see only one line is there. So this will be treated as one text value. Close this to command prompt and bash windows. And by the way, you can also remove lines yourself from notepad as well, doesn't matter. And what I have to do, I have to store that value which I have just copied from my bash window. I need to store it secretly because this is very sensitive document, or I'll say sensitive information. It should not be available to everyone. And for that, go to settings for that repository, and from settings come to secrets and variables and click on actions. There is no secret created as of now for this repository, and what I'll do, I'll click on new repository secret and any name for that, episode key 1, something like that, and I need to paste that value. Let me copy entire text, paste it here, add secret. So this is now added. You can't view this value once again. You can delete or edit it. If I go into the edit mode, you'll see no value is there. So you can basically update it. You cannot view it. And I pasted it again and update the secret. Now my secret value is ready. Now we have everything ready. We just need to write our pipeline file. That's all. And in this .github workflows folder, I'll create a new file which I'll call as episode1.yaml or YML. Both will work. And this will be my pipeline name and maybe CICD episode 1. For now, let's remove all of the unnecessary codes and I'll explain what I am going to do. So I want to execute this pipeline in 2 cases. As you see in the picture, it will be triggered on episode 1 or EP-1 branch, and it will run the pipeline to give you the Terraform plan. And another case will be whenever there is any push to the main branch, that means whenever you merge or something, then it should trigger the actual job which will deploy the Terraform and execute the Python file to upload the text file. That thing is mentioned over here. In Git Action Pipeline, whenever you write this on, that means you want to trigger something on some events. And events could be push, pull request, or maybe workflow dispatch, workflow call, and many other things. You can check out the documentation, but let us keep it simple. On push, what are the branches I want to trigger? I want to trigger on episode 1 and main. And on what folder or what directory I want to trigger. This path is completely optional, but I want to trigger whenever there is a change in this episode 1 only, not for other folder. Okay, so I've defined that one. Concurrency, I'll explain it later onwards. And jobs. What are jobs? So basically job is a collection of steps. That means step number 1, 2, 3 and all of those things which we have explained in the picture. You can have multiple jobs as well. We will be having one job for now, and job name could be something like this: CI/CD job episode 1, something like that. And on which machine or which runner it will take. I'll explain this in later lectures also, but for now let's keep it simple. I want a Ubuntu machine where all my codes will be executed. Simple. Then I need to define the steps those I want to execute. First, I need to get all the things in my repository. That is why I'm using git checkout. And this is predefined, or it is already given by Git Actions. You can check it out. And once your code is checked out, I need to do Terraform init to get a plan. Okay. And for that reason, and what I need to do, I'll get the secret value. And what was our secret value? That was episode key 1, that is EP key 1. Let me paste that value. This syntax means I can get that secret value which is stored there, and I am taking that value as an environment variable. That environment variable name is Google_credentials. This will inform our Terraform job that there is a key and you can take that key to authenticate with Google. That's all. And what I'll do, so basically I'm running bunch of bash commands over there. Let me change this to EP-1. So I want to change my directory to episode 1. So by default, whenever your job is running, that will be on the root directory, and from root directory I'm going into episode 1, and I'm just giving Terraform init, and I have already credentials given into my environment variable, and that should work fine. I'm just giving a pwd command to check my directory, nothing else. Same thing I'm doing over here. I want to get the plan, and I need to change that cd to episode 1, and maybe pwd command is not needed actually, so I've removed it. So this is another step. Under the steps there are multiple steps. This is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and there can be other steps as well. So git checkout, first step. Second step, I'm doing the Terraform initialization. It will initialize my backend, any module, and if anything is there. Terraform plan I'm getting. Then I want to apply the thing only when it is into the main branch, not from my development branch, which I just explained in this picture. The blue color is your plan only. The orange color is basically the actual apply, and that is happening from the main branch. And this github.ref is a default variable provided by Git Action Pipelines, and once you put github.ref, you will get a value. And whenever that value is equals to refs heads/main, then only it will execute. And I need to get the secret key, which is episode key 1, and again I'm storing as a Google credentials. This time I'm using Terraform apply. So till this, what we have completed? We have completed our Terraform and our Google Cloud creation of the bucket. Next job or task could be to upload that file, and for that what I'll do is I'll copy these steps, paste it over here, change the name, upload file, change the ID. ID should be unique for all tasks or steps under one job. Python upload, anything, it could be anything, but it should be unique, and it should be done in the main branch only. So same condition, I'm going over that episode 1 directory, and instead of Terraform this time what I'll do is Python, then I'll execute this one. So simple. I'll just execute this command. These two steps, that is Terraform apply and upload file, will be executed from main. Others will be executed whenever there is any change in these two branches and in this folder or directory only. And I need one more thing. This Google_credentials works fine with Terraform but doesn't work with Python directly. I have to do a trick over here. So basically what I'll do, along with this environment variable, I'll create another environment variable, and what I'm doing, Google application credentials. This will be taken by the Python code to authenticate with Google, and then it will upload the file. And this github.workspace is the default directory where my job is running. This is also predefined variable. That means this root directory whenever it is running. And I'm creating a file over there. I'm not creating basically, I'm just defining this will be my file name in that directory, create.json, and it can be anything .json. And I need to do one thing, and I have the environment variable Google_credentials, which I'm taking from the secret one, and I am basically storing that value in the create.json file. So basically I've given this Google application credentials, that means the path of the file, which is already defined in the environment variable. And once this is done, I should remove that file for security reasons. Copy this value, paste it. So basically this will remove that file. Close all of this. I'll open up terminal. Let me check git branch. I'm on episode 1. Git status, just to check what are the things I've changed. So that is .github and episode 1, that's fine. Git add dot. All the changes are added into my track now. Git commit, adding episode 1. Any commit message you want to put. Git push -u origin branch name, which is episode 1. This time it should ask me for username and password. I'm not going with the extension. I have copied that pad token which we have generated from the GitHub settings window or your personal settings window. That is my username. This is my pad token. Here you go. It has been pushed to the remote branch, and let me go into this repository now. You will see something has been pushed for. Let me go into actions. As you see, one pipeline is running by default. Now it has finished also. And if I go into that, this is my CI/CD job episode 1, which we have defined over here. Let me open that YAML file now. So this is my job. And once I go into that job, you'll see couple of steps are there. The git checkout, this one, it has got all the code from that branch. Terraform init, you'll see Terraform initialization was also successful because the authentication was proper and it found a backend, that means the bucket, which we have defined in backend.tf. You'll see initialization of the backend was done. Then the Terraform plan. Basically it is going to create our new bucket with this name. And let me check if I have corrected my bucket name in the Python file, otherwise it will fail. I think it is fine. Now our plan is ready. That means whenever there is a change in my development branch, I got a plan from my GitHub Actions. What I can do is I can go into the pull requests and I can create a new pull request. It is detecting a change in this branch and sometimes it may not appear. You can click on new pull request, or this time I can click on compare and pull request. It will take the source and destination branch automatically, and any title if you want to add into the pull request. This is purely on GitHub, nothing to do with Git Actions. Basically I can directly push anything on my main branch which I have access to, but sometimes in your organization you might not have access to main branch to push anything. You have to go through a pull request. That is why I'm showing this, and I can click on create pull request over here, and you'll see all checks have passed. How it is coming? It is coming from the previous run which was triggered as part of our push to the episode 1 branch. And if I click on details, it will redirect me to that actions, as you see. Let me go into the pull requests now. And basically what this pull request will be doing, it will be updating the main branch with the changes, and which will basically trigger our second deployment step, or that means second pipeline automatically from the main branch, which is in the orange color, which will do all those stuffs. And let's do that. Click on merge pull request, confirm this. Let's go to actions now. and it has triggered a new one as we expected. Now it will start very soon. Init is already done, plan will be done very soon, and Terraform apply. There is some error in the Terraform apply. Oh, I didn't provide a project ID. That's my bad. What I can do, let me give it a project ID. And what will be my project ID? I can get it from here. This is my project ID, and this time it should be fine. Or this can be also given in this file, main. Either of that works. Project, either I can give it here or I can give it in the provider. And let me comment out this in the provider. Let me maintain that on the resource code itself. So what I'll do, I'll put git add dot again to track all the changes. Git commit message add project ID, and let me git push. And this time I do not need to put origin because I have given -u in earlier push. That should take automatically the branch. And this is my username. This is my pad token. Push is successful this time again. Now let me go into this one. Another action should automatically trigger this time because this is on the same branch, episode 1. The plan is good now. Let me create another pull request, and this time I'll be taking the source branch as episode 1, and if you scroll down it will show you what are the changes I've done. Create pull request. Title is fine, I do not want to change it. Create pull request. All checks have passed. Click on merge pull request. Merge. Another action should be triggered automatically by now, and I'll paste the link and you can check out my code whenever you want. This time it is creating. Oh, so this is your DevOps. Your Terraform apply was perfect, but the upload failed. What I'll do, basically it could not find the module which I wanted to import. And what I'll do is, I'll update my code again. I'll go into this pipeline file and I'll do pip install. Before executing this Python command, so basically pip install gcloud. This is how DevOps works. Whenever there is any change required, you can do it on the fly. You do not have to do anything manually now once it is set up. Git add dot git commit -m, adding pip install, something like that. Git push, thus learning. This is my password. Push is done. Another job should be triggered for the planning. Why it is not coming? How it will trigger? I forgot my own condition. I need to do some changes in this path only, otherwise it will not take. Okay, maybe I'll change this file a little bit. Version 2 for now. Git add dot commit -m, run the job, something like that. Git push. Sometimes I forget my own condition. Thus learning, paste it. Push is done. This time it should trigger. Yep, end it. This time plan should give you nothing basically. No changes is there. You see, there is no change and my plan is successful now. I'll create a new pull request. Source branch is episode 1. Create a pull request. Tests are successful. Merge it. Another job should trigger. This time Terraform apply will not work because basically there is no change, but the upload should happen if our pip commands work properly. Yeah, upload was successful this time. And let me go into this bucket now. Nothing was there earlier. Let me refresh it now. Oh, not this one. This will hold the Terraform state file as we explained in the backend configuration. This have the state file. Let me go to buckets now. The new bucket is this one, 23, and T folder which we have defined in this code. Let me open the Python code. T folder, and the file will be new text. That is, go inside new text.txt. And if I open this file, because I have authentication, I can read this file, and this is having the v2. In the CI/CD world, sometimes maybe our application can change. For example, this is our application file maybe, and I want to change it to version 3 with any changes. For example, this is an application code, for example. Let me close this. The CI/CD pipeline should take the new code and it should deploy on cloud, which is our intention. Git add dot git commit, maybe deploy v3, something like that. Git push, that will again go to my development branch, which is episode 1, cancel, username, password. That's done. It should trigger another action now. Deploy v3. Yep, it will show you the plan Again, there is no change on the Terraform. Now let me go to pull requests, new pull request, episode 1. Only change will be the text file from V2 to V3. Create pull request, checks have passed, merge it. Let me refresh this page, and this time also upload should work. And let me go into that folder. I need to refresh this, and let's check the value. Indeed, it is V3 now. And that is how your CI/CD can work. It can be replaced by anything else, and you can maintain the infrastructure using Terraform as we have shown here, and then the deploy step can go there and deploy your changed code on that. So this is all for this episode. I know this was a quite heavy for episode 1. Thanks for watching, and if you have any doubt on DevOps terminologies and DevOps technologies, go there and check my Azure DevOps episodes, which will help you to understand few things over there if you have not already checked. Thanks for watching again. See you in some next videos.